Hello everyone, welcome back to the Demon Slayer Gaming channel. Today we're going to be going over another team composition for the new Witcher's Circus for the Darkest Dungeon expansion. This one is going to be centered around stressing out your opponent and getting afflictions as quick as possible, along with dealing increased damage to afflicted targets and trying to get heart attacks from your enemy. This is, again, like the first build I presented, going to be focused on using just the beginner trinkets. So you are able to use this right from the very beginning and work your way up the ranks using it, and then replacing these trinkets with the class-specific ones, which will just make this build even stronger. But we're going to be starting off with the Man-at-Arms in position 1. I'm going to be using the Brass Knuckles for the increased melee damage, along with the Daze chance on his Rampart. He will not be using this ability very often, but if he gets positioned back to position 3, and that messes up your positioning for your Houndmaster or your Grave Robber, you can rotate him forward with the Rampart, and then it also knocks the enemy back and provides Daze, so it is very situational, but it can be very good. And he's going to be using the Pit Fighter Helm for the increased protection, giving him a whopping 30% since he has a built-in 10%, along with the Stress Dealt increase. So the main ability we're going to be using with the Bounty Hunter is going to be the Bellow, which is going to be a party-wide stress, along with a 20% damage buff. So this can ramp up, since it is the debuff does last for 3 rounds. So if you landed every single round, can ramp up to 60% damage debuff. That's very nice. We do take Defender here, just in case somebody needs to be protected. We will be able to use Defender on them, give a nice protection buff to the Man-at-Arms, along with guarding that person, and they get abilities buffs while guarded. And then we do have the Bolster here for the increased party-wide dodge, and then also the minus 15% stress taken in case we end up going against any stress compositions. In position 2, we have the Houndmaster. We're going to be using the Crimson Hook this time. It's going to be doing the increased stress dealt versus frigates, along with the bleed skill chance and crit chance. And then the Spiked Bat again for the increased damage, along with the bleed skill chance. Main reason we're using this combination here is because his primary ability is going to be the Hound's Harry. We want to be using this almost every single round because, like the Bellow, it is a party-wide stress attack, along with the Bleed party-wide, which will then allow his attacks to do even more stress every single round. So that's going to just continue to ramp up, and it really finds out being pretty good. The Guard Dog again, in case we need to guard anyone, so it gives them an extra round to heal up. We do have Lick Wounds, since he is in the first in the back 3 positions by being up here. He has a heal for himself, along with a heal over time, which will keep him alive some. Then we have Black Shack, since he is in the first 2. Gives us the ability to stun someone if we really need to. Now, the Grave Robber is going to be your primary stress dealer. We have her with the Rotting Trophy, since the main ability she's going to be using is the Panic Darts. So it provides a 15% stress dealt to that attack, which already does 30 stress. So that's going to make it even more impactful with every single time she uses it, along with a 30% increase to get the Blight on them. Now, Blight is not too important because Blight does not proc death blows in the Butcher's Circus, but it is a little extra damage, so it will help out some. Now, the Bounty Hunter is the only person that we have that has a move increased death blow chance, which is going to be on the lunge here. So the reason we're running the Sanity's Bane on the Grave Robber is going to be giving them a 15% damage versus afflicted, along with a 10% accuracy versus afflicted. Okay, so the Grave Robber here is going to be the only one that has a increased death blow dealt chance on one of the abilities. All the other heroes that we're taking in do not, so we're going to be using the lunge primarily to land death blows. So the reason that we're running Sanity's Bane is once they are afflicted, they do have their heart attack, they get down to 0. The increased death blow chance from Sanity's Bane, along with the damage and accuracy, is going to be helping Lunge get even stronger to get the death blows. So it is only a 20% increase on Lunge. Sanity's Bane will make it 45, so it is very helpful. We're going to be running Pick to the Face just for those high armor targets, kind of like our Man-at-Arms. But will be very situational and not used very often. Lunge will be purely for getting death blows. We won't use it very often other than that. Shadow Fade is going to be used primarily after our lunge to get her back in a position to continue darting and then lunging again once someone else gets down to 0. And then Panic Darts will be the primary ability that the Grave Robber is using every single round. Now we have the Occultist here. We're going with the Carnival Mask again, or the increased stress dealt, and then the accuracy bonus. And then we'll give her the Gladiator Helmet this time for the increased prot, along with max HP. Provides him a bit of tankiness in case he does get focused. We're going to begin running the Abyssal Artillery this time since he is in the back 2. This will provide instant stress to the enemy, the back 2 targets, along with a Horror for 3 rounds. We have the Weakening Curse here, which will again inflict 30 stress on the target, combined with the mask, which does even more. And then it'll also drop their protection and their damage down. Also, so that it's a nice little debuff increase. We have his heal, of course, and then we have the Daemon's Pull again. This provides a Horror for 3 rounds, along with pulling the back enemy 2, which can unposition the enemy team, but primarily will be used for the Horror on this team comp. Alright, so let's jump into a game.